Hello, my name is Martyr, and this is Let's Play The Dungeoning. The Dungeoning is a roguelike RPG platformer, guys. It really reminds me of a mix between Legend of Dungeon and Rogue Legacy, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later on. It released on Steam April 2014. It was developed and published by Nick Donnelly. You can go ahead and get The Dungeoning on Steam right now for $11.99. Now, I've heard this game referred to as the Dark Souls of platformers, and while I don't 100% agree with that, you can kind of get an idea and see where this is going as far as features and the difficulty of the game. Basically, the game features permadeath with no real form of progression. Basically, you start, you go as far as you can before you die, and you start all over again. To be honest, it's one of those games you're either going to get or not get. It is fun, though, and it looks fantastic. The game isn't trying to frustrate you, and you can make it quite far if you're careful. Basically, if you approach everything as if it was a trap, 90% of the time you're right. So let's get to it, shall we? Let's get to the gameplay. There really isn't much to say as far as menus go. Basically, you have a little statistics screen that tells you how well you did. You have a little help button, gives you an idea of what the controls are like, but for the most part, that's basically it as far as that goes. So let's talk about what you're looking at right here. On the top right, you have my mini-map. On the top left, you have my health, my stamina bar, which if you see me swing my sword here, you'll see that I start losing mana rapidly. Not mana, stamina, I'm sorry. And if I basically go all the way down to 0, I can't swing my sword anymore. Below that is a magic bar, which you basically will use with your magic items. Below that is a burn and poison bar, which are those bars that are empty there. And there are certain enemies in the game that can poison and burn you in this game. So let's go ahead and kill this guy. And they can be very annoying, but basically the more you get hit by them, the more that bar fills up, and then it kind of does continuous damage to you. Below that are my keys. One of them is a door key, and I think the other one is a treasure key. And you can collect those kind of randomly throughout the entire game here. So basically the entire objective of this game here, guys, is to... Oh, good lord. Is to get to the, I guess, the end of the dungeon, as it were, and survive, basically. It's not exactly easy, and it does have a little bit of a difficulty spike. After about 5 levels, which you'll hopefully see here. There's also like an assortment of different items you can interact with, like these barrels here, which always explode for some reason, but they have items in them, so you kind of want to detonate them at a safe distance and do trick shots. That was unfortunate for that guy. That sucked. Oh, hello. As far as controls go, you have several things you can do here. You have the ability to switch your weapon, and there is different kinds of weapons in this game. There's about 4 different kinds of weapons to be exact. There's a bow, a sling, a sword, and a wand. That's actually all the weapons in the game. You can also press another button that will raise your shield. And that is one thing I should note, that the game does feature controller support, which is super sweet. I plugged in my controller and basically it immediately started working, which is pretty good because most of the time, most games kind of look at my controller and go, wow, what is this derpy piece of shit? But it actually recognized my controller and is working quite well, which makes me happy. Okay. But yeah, there's an assortment of actions and different things you can do. You can swing your sword, raise your shield. You can also press a button to kind of take some items to heal yourself. But you can also go into the sub-menu here and pause the game, basically, which allows you to get access to many different items and many different kinds of things. For instance, you can equip different kinds of items if you have them, like a better sword or a better bow. You also can drop items with a certain button. I forget which button it is, but I don't remember which button. But you can drop items if you don't want to be carrying that item. You can't sell items in this game, even though there is vendors in this game. And the game is completely procedurally generated also. I should note that also, is that everything you see is completely random as far as what you'll get. You'll also occasionally run into items that are obviously beneficial, like potions and blue potions and red potions. I don't really need to explain to you what these do. Red potions obviously heal health. Blue potions heal mana. You'll also run into apples and mushrooms, and they can do different effects, and you can kind of hit the describe button and it'll tell you what they do and basically what they do. Sometimes you run into really sweet items like the Scroll of Universal Improvement, which basically increases all of your stats. So let's go ahead and use that. You also can look at your arrow amount and all that stuff, good stuff there. And then this screen right here basically is what allows you to kind of upgrade your character. You can upgrade 4 stats basically, and they kind of affect certain stats here and there. Even though, to be honest with you, after upgrading a lot of my stats, I saw some difference between all my stats. I didn't really feel a massive amount of difference though. There's also some menu options here and the ability to redefine the controls, which is pretty super sweet actually. So that's basically it as far as menus go. There's a couple other neat tricks in this game. For instance, if you hold down, press the jump button, your character does like a little bit of a backflip, which is nice. You can also kind of down attack, very Rogue Legacy style, which is very useful. You saw me just get poisoned there, by the way, by that rat. the rat, yes, can poison me. So let's go ahead and blow this barrel up here. Well, you could use the bow here. Basically, the bow has a different kind of trajectory. Most weapons have a gravity affecting them. So basically, if you shoot, let's say this, hold on. If you shoot this, you know what? I'm gonna just shoot the bow there. There we go. You shoot the bow, you can kind of see its trajectory is falling down, whereas a slingshot has a lesser trajectory, and it allows for some pretty... Wow, I got those 2 scrolls of universal improvement there. Holy crap. That's actually kind of rare. I'm going to use those really quick. Where is it? They're under items. That's where they are, Marta. Get to the scrolls of universal improvement. Wow, look at that. So you scrolls of universal improvement, by the way, if you're case wondering, increase all of your stats by 1 point. So they're kind of pretty badass, actually. I have to say that was a very good find there. But I'm pretty sure it's... Oh, you stupid bat. I did not see you. And that's one thing. By the way, if I do balls terrible, I apologize. I'm just kind of focusing on talking about the game. And not necessarily trying to do as well as I probably could. Every time you beat a level, you basically get a timer. Basically tells you the number of enemies you killed, and then it randomly generates the next board. And this is kind of the bare bones essential part of the game. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, let's take out both those enemies with that barrel there. And you kind of see, you can pull off kind of some trick shots and mess up your enemy's world if you're, well, a good trick shot like I am. I'm talking shit, by the way. That was completely luck and accidental. I was just happy to get lucky, to be honest with you. Oh, good lord. Get away from me, slime. Okay, we gotta... Oh, good lord. Okay, let's kill it. You son of a bitch. Stop being a douche. Okay, he's dead. Let's pull our bow here. Take that, you little bastard. Alright, let's get back over there. Let's eat some apples. Apparently apples are very restorative. And then we'll blow that up, back off, because I don't want to get hit by the explosion. And then, I can't hit that guy, so forget him. Let's just ignore that slimy thing. But yeah, basically this is kind of the basic form of progression. You basically are trying to get as far as you can into the dungeon. I'm not exactly sure how many levels are in the dungeon. I'm going to say it's probably, maybe at the most, I think 20. It's about a good, if you're good at the game, it'll take you about 3 hours to beat. In total. Son of a bitch, that bastard. And you can kind of see what I mean when I said earlier the game kind of is very reminiscent of Rogue Legacy as far as the platforming and overall design of the place goes. It's all very reminiscent of Rogue Legacy. Mind you, you don't necessarily go from like passage to passage, but just the way it all plays and the aesthetic of the game, the way you swing your sword and kind of have an arc about it. It's all very Rogue Legacy to me. And also the way the game overall looks is extremely reminiscent of the dungeoning. I mean, the fires, the way the enemies glow when you kill them. It's just all very reminiscent of, to me, of Legend of Dungeon, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I love Legend of Dungeon. I had a lot of fun with that game. And I'm sure I'll have a lot of fun with this game. So let's go ahead and... Oh, beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. I love that. That was fantastic. I've been playing the game for about, I don't know, about about 2 hours now. 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours. Just to get a good grasp on the game. Because it's procedurally generated. You want to play the game quite a bit before you can obviously, I make a review about it especially. But, basically you will find randomly generated things sometimes, like you'll find a witch who's selling potions or mushrooms, or sometimes you'll find a blacksmith who's selling swords. And you basically kind of find random items in these vendors. The only thing I found perturbing about that is that you earn very little amounts of gold in this game, so most of the time when you do find a vendor, you can't really afford anything they can sell you. Oh, hello, there's a treasure chest right there. Walk right past it. I do like the fact there are secret passages in this game, and I think that does add quite a bit of replay. And you can find items in chests. I will say that sometimes you will find some decent items in chests, but for instance, I just found, let's say, a wooden shield. I already have a wooden shield. That doesn't necessarily benefit me. By the way, if you're wondering what the green glowing ring does, it doesn't really do anything beneficial. All it does is create a little light around your character to kind of light the way, because as you get progressively farther into the game, it starts kind of taking away torches. So that way you can't see where your enemy is necessarily, and you kind of have to kind of stumble through the darkness occasionally. But with this ring, it does help a little bit when you start getting into the deeper areas. Also, like I said, every time you start killing monsters, you'll start gaining experience, and basically you can use that experience to upgrade your stats. And this is one thing that I enjoy that it's there. I wish there was like an auto level up feature, because it does seem like it does kill the overall speed of the game to have to go and continuously go back there and level up my stats. Because sometimes, I'm not gonna lie to you, in the heat of combat, I am not focused on that, especially in the middle of a dungeon. It's full of monsters. I'm kind of like go, 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 go. And sometimes I'd appreciate if the stats were just leveling themselves and I didn't necessarily have to worry about it. Come here, you stupid ghost. Okay, fine. Alright, we're going to have to kill these ghosts, hopefully, here. And we'll try to progress as far as we can here, guys. Yeah, but aesthetically, I think the game's very enjoyable. I love the way that everything glows. I love the way everything looks. It's all very well. It looks visually pleasing to me. How about that? Oh, good lord. Oh, stupid. I should have just smashed him. I should have not tried to jump on him. I'm going to go ahead and take some items here. Let's go ahead and use 2 apples. Just the apples. The delicious apples. And we'll kill these guys. I have to say, not ground pounding, but basically jumping on the enemy and pogoing them is what I think it's called, is definitely a more proficient strategy to fighting certain things in the game. Because for the most part, enemies will try to blast you from afar, especially as you get into later on levels. Because you son of a bitch. As you start getting deeper and deeper into levels, pogoing is definitely a strategy you're going to want to use. As you get farther and farther into the game here. I'm going to be very careful here, because there is certain enemies in this game that can detonate those barrels, and those barrels will do an extreme amount of damage to me. I missed. What a douche. Twice I missed. 3 times I missed. Yeah, real professional martyr. You're a crack shot, man. Let's go ahead and head up here and kill this little bestage. As you can see, we've kind of upgraded our strength, so now we're kind of killing those guys in about a shot, whereas it would normally take about 3 shots to kill them. Like I said, there is magic items in this game, even though I have not gotten one, and maybe I'll hopefully find one. But basically, there's like a magic wand in the game that basically everything supposedly has its own weakness. That's gonna fall. And basically, the way it works is that magic items basically are kind of like similar to slingshots and bows, except instead of having a trajectory that they fall, they are basically just straight shots. They just keep moving forward until they hit a wall or an enemy or what have you. So let's go ahead over here, collect this bush here. We'll ignore that enemy because we don't really need to kill him. And that's one thing I will say about this game. If you don't need to kill something, don't. There really is no point to fighting things you need. Oh, that didn't need to do that. There's no point to fighting things you don't need to fight. If you can avoid something, just avoid it. Basically, at all costs. Let's see if I can get this guy to come near this barrel. Oh, I missed. Totally missed that guy. I pissed him off. Good. You know what? I'm gonna have to kill this guy first before I can kill his giant ass. Okay, he's gonna fire at me. He's gonna miss. Oh, crap. This is one of the more tougher enemies in the game. Even though I kind of defeated him there. But yeah, you can see that the enemies kind of get tougher and tougher. As you get deeper and deeper into the game, it starts introducing different kinds of enemies for you to fight. And some of them can be very... the game, like I said, the game does have like a bit of a difficulty spike. Suddenly you're facing enemies that are ridiculously tough. I found, at least. You can also bounce off walls, by the way. You can kind of grab onto walls, cling off them, and bounce off them, almost Mega Man style. Which is another thing I kind of like about the game. Is the platforming is very well done. So much that I wish there was a little bit more of a focus on the platforming and less on necessarily the dungeoning aspect of the game. Not that I don't mind the dungeoning aspect of the game. The dungeoning aspect of the game is very well done. I just enjoy I wish there was a little bit more just aspects to kind of mess around with the platforming aspect of the game. As you saw, we got a reinforced slingshot, which is better than our current slingshot. There is no explanation of stats. I mean, there's nothing to say, oh, okay, well, this does 2 points of damage extra. There's nothing to say as far as that goes. Basically, it's just well, that item has a different name, so hence it is by proxy better. But yeah, we basically got a better slingshot now. We can use that to our advantage to hopefully probably defeat more enemies, or probably shoot a little bit farther and head a little bit farther. Oh, I forgot to spend my stat points again. I apologize for that, guys. I hit the wrong button and kind of toggled the full screen to activate, which kind of messed up the recording there for a second. But like I was saying, I need to spend my stat point here, and I usually balance between strength and vitality, because magic by far is the most useless stat in the game, because unless you get a magic one basically at the beginning of the game, for the most part you're not going to be using your magic point too much, all that much really. So as you can see, the game does have it is difficult. It's not easy. But to say that it is extremely difficult is not necessarily true. I've had some issues beating certain enemies, but for the most part, like I said, if you can just avoid enemies for the most part, there really isn't any reason to fight anything in this game. You can just avoid it, get to the door, and then move along. Sometimes you'll be forced to fight things, but for the most part, if you can just avoid things, that's basically going to be your optimum strategy here. Let's go ahead and stop being stupid about this. You son of a bitch. Okay, fine. We will kill you, and then we will jump up there, dude. Okay? There we go. You're dead now. Go to hell. Alright, so we got a lot of slimes up here, so that's okay, though. Just jump on them like that. Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness. I almost hit that exploding barrel, and that would have been the death of me. So let's go ahead and shoot our reinforced slingshot. Got another apple, which is fantastic. I'll consume that immediately. And this is one of the vendors in the game, which I'm happy we get to show you here. This is I'm Drangle, wandering trader. Buy something or you don't, your choice. And you can see Drangle here has a mixture of different kinds of items, all the way from I don't think you can hit the description button, but you can see that kind of prices as far as ranging from, let's say, cheap to 2 gold, all the way from 150 gold. Which, if you can buy something for 150 gold, if you actually manage to collect 150 gold in this game, congratulations, because I have not. I've been playing the game for a while, and I've never managed to collect 150 gold. But you can buy things for gold. Let's see. I will go ahead and buy an apprentice wand. Oops. I will go ahead and buy an apprentice wand, so that way you can just get an idea of the way magic looks like in this game. I didn't buy it, right? Oh, it dropped on the ground. Okay. You can see what magic looks like in this game. And I'd say I do love the effects of magic. The way everything looks in this game is just gorgeous. The game itself is very, very pretty. Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and kill this box here, collect these items, and then we'll use our... There you go. You get the idea. Basically, magic works somewhat exactly similar to a bow or the slingshot, except that it's a really cool looking colorful effect. And I'm sure there's different elements in the game, like there's a flaming sword or a poison magic wand, and I'm sure that does change the effects of them, but for the most part the mechanics of the item aren't necessarily that different. I'm going to be very careful here, because at this point we've entered the, I guess you could say, second phase of the game. And as you can see, that guy right down there, he'd kick my ass. He shoots fire, he has like a lot of hit points, and there really is just absolutely no reason that I should fight that guy, because he will just annihilate me. So I'm going to try to detonate that. I'm going to try to detonate that. Perfect. Because those are kind of... the changes the shape of the exploding barrels, try to trip you up. But, I've been playing for a while, so I kind of know what they look like. And I trust me, the first time I came around, I actually died quite horrifically in the game. It also starts introducing things like traps and oh, hello. Hold on, if I can... There we go. I got him beautifully. I just pogoed his ass to death, and that was fantastic. What do we got down here? It looks like we got some sort of another vendor here. This person sells looks like ranged weapons. He sells like a rock, a peasant's bow, a reinforced slingshot, and basically things if I needed to buy, let's say, some rocks or whatever, which is pretty cool. And these are all, just like I said, guys, all randomly procedurally generated. Oh, good lord, a mimic! Mimic. Die, mimic! I hate mimics, man. Mimics are a pain in the ass in this game, because they kind of jump around trying to snap at you. The controls are smooth. They basically run very well. I haven't really had much of a problem with the controls. I've heard that some people have had issues with the controls in this game. Sometimes it disconnects them from the game. But as far as my gameplay goes, my experience with the game, the controls work rather very well, actually. Oh, good lord. I'm bouncing like a retard. Well, we'll just go over here. I love how I said the controls are smooth, and I like them, and then I completely just screw up right there like an idiot. I basically, hello, we overjumped that. That was my fault. And basically, the game basically, well, like I said, it is challenging. It's punishing if you make a mistake. If you make a mistake, if you go to fight things you don't necessarily need to fight, yes, the game is extremely punishing. Let's go ahead and avoid that guy if we can. Yeah, he's a good shot. Okay. You know what, dude? You know what? Take some rocks in the head. Alright, go back off a bit. Jump. There we go. We're pegging him in the head. I love how he just stands there and kind of just lets us peg him in the head. And you can kind of get an idea of how the different tactics work. You can kind of figure out how to fight the different kinds of enemies in this game. Each of them has their own tactics, their own way of fighting. You don't necessarily, you can adapt to them, kind of figure out how to kill them efficiently, and you will beat this game. But the best part about this game is that once you do beat the game, guys, there is a new game plus mode. So I'm going to go ahead and head to the next level here, guys. And like I said, this is level 5 now. And the game gets deeper and deeper and harder, guys. What did it just hit me? What just hit me? What the hell? I don't know what just hit me. But yeah, basically there's different kinds of stats, there's different kinds of items. The game does have like a difficulty spike, like I said here. Here, the enemies get really tougher from this point forward. And it kind of it takes the training wheels off, as it were, and lets you kind of figure things out for yourself. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, guys. Taking into consideration that the dungeoning is made by one guy single-handedly, the dungeoning is already a testament to the skill and dedication from the developer. It looks beautiful, plays smoothly, and is quite challenging. That being said, though, the greedy gamer inside of me is always saying more, more. I want more weapons, I want more magic items, I want more variety, I want an auto stat placement. I want resolution controls, I want boss fights, I want a save and exit feature, because like for instance right now, if I wanted to quit the game, I would basically lose all of my progress and that would be it. But again, I'm greedy and the guy is making the game by himself here, guys. And like I said, well, I have not run into many bugs other than the music stopping, I think at one point. I have heard of crashes being an issue for other players. So basically, buyer beware. And the developer is still actively putting out patches and addressing these issues. So I'm sure that anything that bugs that people find will be fixed eventually. So go ahead and pick up this dungeoning on Steam right now. It's a cool game, guys. Big thanks to the developer for a chance to review this game. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe and I'll keep bringing you awesome indie games, guys. Till next time, play more indie games, and this has been Let's Play The Dungeoning.